You believe this, man? What are you, like the most important person in the room? You don't even need to achieve anything when you wear a Seiko tuna on a strap coat. This isn't about watches. Why are you so obsessed? Lord have mercy. We are going to talk about obsessions today. Let's call this the Obsession Chronicles. When you're obsessive and you talk about watches all the time, sometimes it's time to sit back and take more of a macro view of your obsessive personality. Because I'm here to tell you that your obsession with watches is not the original behavior of your obsessive personality. It goes way back. I mean, I'm thinking when I was in kindergarten, I had to be Mickey on the Monkees for show and tell. There was nothing more important in life than dressing up like Mickey on the Monkees. Hey, hey, we are the Monkees. That was the biggest thing when I was a kid. And I'm obsessive now. Did you know that I go on online menus and look at meals that I would order, the ultimate meal for restaurants that I'm not even going to? That's ridiculous. I look at cars online. I do research on cars. I'm not even buying a car for like 5, 6, 7 years. I only have 53,000 miles on my 2007 Nissan Maxima. So why do you do that? I drive my wife crazy. She's known me for like 16 years, and I'm always trying to come up with the ultimate name for a rock band. Should I be bona fide? The other night we were driving home. Maybe a good name for my rock band would be Los Otros. And my wife just gives me the look and says, dude, you're not in a rock band. We don't. And so anyway, that's got to stop. Now, I was talking about the Monkees when I was 5 years old. When I was about 7, everything was dinosaurs. I knew every species of dinosaur. I would draw them on paper. I knew I had to be an archaeologist. There was nothing else to do. Knew I was going to be an archaeologist, but then when I turned 9, dinosaurs were gone. They were replaced by baseball because Reggie Jackson of the Oakland A's, that's where I'm from, the San Francisco Oakland Bay area. I saw Reggie Jackson come up and hit a home run in the 1971 All-Star game. And that was it. I had to be a baseball player. Not just any kind of baseball player. I had to be a giant, muscular slugger who hit home runs like Reggie Jackson. And during that time, I invented a game called Dice Baseball. And I would play Dice Baseball with my baseball cards. I always had Reggie Jackson in my deck of cards. He would always bat cleanup. And I would play Dice Baseball from 7 in the morning until 9 at night. And I would announce the games into my Panasonic tape recorder, and I would replay the tapes. Man, if I would have played real baseball outdoors as much as I did those indoor dice baseball games, I might have gone pro. I don't know. So, everything was baseball, baseball, baseball. And then in the 7th grade, Coach Lou Crook, recruited me to be a junior Olympic weightlifter. And I became number 1 in the nation when I was 13 years old. I had to be an Olympic weightlifter. That was my life, doing the snatch and the clean and jerk. And then I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger in Pumping Iron. And I had to be a bodybuilder. Everything was bodybuilding by the time I was 14 years old. And at the age of 14, I was at Joel Carney's house, and he had this beautiful, his father was a doctor, and his father bought him for his birthday, in 1974, the most expensive stereo you could imagine. And he played Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, which blew my mind. He played Yes, Close to the Edge album, a song called And You and I, which blew my mind. And he played Genesis, Trick of the Tail, and The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. I became an evangelist for Genesis. I would go to parties with Genesis albums, and the girls would hide the albums. We don't want them playing Genesis, this airy fairy music, this progressive rock. They wanted to play Sammy Hagar and Jeff Beck and Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith, and I wanted to play Genesis. So that was the big thing back in high school. And I was going to be a bodybuilder, but I was second place in Mr. Teenage San Francisco, and I brought Sandy, this girl, with me to the contest, and didn't work out, and I gave up on bodybuilding. But I remember I continued with my Genesis obsession up into my late teens. I went to a Peter Gabriel concert. I took Jill Pickett to a Peter Gabriel concert. She loved it. She thought I had great taste. I wanted to share my rare Genesis albums. I had Inside and Out, Spot the Pigeon, Vancouver, these rare EPs. She didn't give them back to me for a long time, and I called her one morning. I go, can I get my albums back? And she said, well, I'm going to be leaving in about 15 minutes. I'm going somewhere. I go, that's okay. Even though I'm in my pajamas, I can be dressed and in your house in a very short while. And I learned from a mutual friend that she always shared that story with her mutual friend of ours, and saw me in this sort of ridiculous light. And I remember initially I was hurt and upset and angry that you would mock me. But that's the whole thing. It's funny. It's comical. If you're obsessive, you're vulnerable. You're comical. You don't do well with boundaries. You're a little unhinged, man. And so I've never changed. I got the watch obsession. I'm going to tell you, I have some friends. They're a married couple. I've known them for over 35 years. And they're from the San Francisco Bay Area, and it's a long story, but about 12 years ago, they moved to the Fresno area. It's a long story. It has to do with the cost of housing and schools for their kids. But about 10 years ago, I used to burn them CDs, and I'd send them about one a year. We have shared interests in indie rock, and because I live in the LA area and I have access to KCRW, and This Morning becomes eclectic. I have access to it. We have a lot of shared music. If you go way back, we like the Trash Can Sinatras, the Sundays, the Smiths, Morrissey. And these days, I had some Swedish bands called The Amazing, and some British bands, The Clientele, and I could go on. But the point is, I bought a iMac a little over a year ago, and it didn't have a CD burner in it. The new ones don't. So I finally bought a CD burner. They're not that much. They're like $35, $40. I don't know what this is, but so I hadn't burned a CD in a long time, and I had a lot of backlog. And I have an obsessive personality, so I use these cheap CDs to make Dave and Amy a couple CDs. And I realized I got a text from Amy, hey man, didn't come in that good. The sound was skipping, and this Verbatim brand was just horrible. So I bought a more expensive brand of CDs, Maxwell. To make a long story short, I made them like 6 CDs in 3 different CD packages in the mail. I sent them here from LA. And I got that's nice of me. I'm sending them some updated music. I haven't sent them music. And I got a text from Amy. And she was like, dude, what's going on, man? Are you planning to leave planet Earth? Are you signing off? Is this your goodbye sign off? And I thought, oh, yeah, I could see how you might think that. Oh, my God. And then her husband said, dude, have you gone crazy? And the thing is, yeah, that's the thing. I'm obsessive, and there is a little bit of craziness in me. And I told my wife about it, and she gave me the look. She gave me the look, man. How many CDs did you burn them? I said, I think 6, 7, something like that. She gave me the look, man. And that's the thing about being obsessive. Sometimes you scare people. You come on too strong. You don't have the boundaries that you need. You become unhinged. You kind of do leave planet Earth, as that text told me. And if it wasn't for my family and job responsibilities, I don't know if I'd go back to Earth enough. I mean, I think the whole watch obsession is completely unearthly in many ways, which is what an obsession I have to do. Let's look at no, let's not do that. So there is a certain vulnerability, and as I was thinking about this, I had a memory of working at a wine store in Berkeley 30 years ago. The wine salesman and I, the wine salesman, his name was Jim, we looked out the window and there was a homeless lady. She was a regular, we'd see her every day. And he was laughing because this homeless lady had found in the dumpster a green wig. And she was looking at her reflection in the newspaper rack here at the wine store Berkeley, and she was, positioning the green wig on her head. And, my friend Jim, the wine salesman, was laughing at that lady. I didn't laugh. I didn't think it was funny. I mean, you know what, man? I have a lot of empathy for people who are vulnerable, for people who become unhinged. I think if I had to find some kind of silver lining in the cloud of my obsessive personality, I have a certain empathy. I don't think I would go homeless or anything like that. But, as I look back on my obsessive personality, I have been the geek, the nerd, the dude who shows up to parties with Genesis albums and everyone's hiding. Don't let them get a hold of the turntable. The guy who could only talk about baseball cards or dinosaurs. And I know my place now. I don't talk about watches with anyone because I don't know anyone who shares my watch obsession. I mean, I share it on YouTube with the community, but that's pretty much it. And I won't be burning 8 CDs, man, scaring people, man. So I wanted to give a macro look at the obsessive personality. I don't know what we're going to call this. The Obsession Chronicles, Part 1. I don't know. Every video is about obsession. So, and this is how I naturally talk, right? So anyways, until next time, I am out.